We're live. We're live, guys. How's it going? How is it going? I hope you guys are having a good day. Today we're going to be talking about hospitality. So this lesson is going to be all about hospitality and different phrases that we can use, expressions that we can use, how to greet people. I'm going to go through what to say to people when they come in, how to ask people questions, low-end versus high-end hospitality joints. I'm going to talk about checking on customers, the questions that customers might ask you, responses to these questions. We'll also talk about when customers finish eating or they're leaving the place, and then when paying, and then we'll go through a few verbs that are really common in Australian English that are used quite a bit. Anyway, so that's the basic outline. Give me a thumbs up, give me a love heart if you can hear me okay, guys. I'm just going to quickly share the episode as well. So after you've given me a like, let me know where you guys are listening from today. Are you all in Australia? Are you overseas? And what time is it? Whereabouts are you guys? Where are you? Where are you from? And if you feel like it, feel free to give the video a share as well, as it will bump the video up so that more people see it. So I'm going to quickly do that, just so that it reaches a few more peeps. Although every time that I share the video on my Facebook, I have my friends coming across. They come over to the video and start saying silly things. So, all right, giving that a share. So where are you guys from? Where are you guys from, and what time is it where you guys are? Let me know in a comment below. How are you going, Vandad? Thanks for joining me, man. Murray River. Oof. So on the New South Wales side or on the Victorian side, Dewa? All right, seems like everything's going all right. Vandad's up in Rockhampton in Queensland. So you guys are in Australia. That's awesome. That's awesome. What about anyone from overseas here at the moment today? And is it a crazy hour? Is it the morning, the arvo? Is it the evening? Or is it like midnight? Something crazy like that? Or are you guys all good? So from Thailand, 4 p.m, just finished work. Nice one. Nice one. Mongolia, Norman, awesome. 5 p.m. Brilliant. All right. Anyway, before we start today, guys, I've got an announcement. So I guess firstly, Lala is the one who suggested that I do the hospitality stuff. So thank you, Lala, for the suggestion. I hope you enjoy this episode. And I had an announcement to bring up with you guys, to mention to you guys, to ask you your opinion about. And I've got it listed out here on the screen. So forgive me if my eyes switch from the video to the screen. So I'm thinking about helping you guys with phrasal verbs. I know that phrasal verbs are evil. Like a lot of you guys seem to hate phrasal verbs and think that they're really annoying and one of the most frustrating parts of English to learn, you know. Give me a thumbs up if you think that phrasal verbs are a pain in the butt. But I've been thinking about how I can make that easier, how I can create a course for you guys to help you guys learn phrasal verbs. And initially I thought I'll just sit down and create an entire course, and then eventually when it's completed, I'll put it online for you guys to be able to purchase and then use from wherever in the world that you want to do it. However, more recently, I've figured out, I thought that maybe it's easier if I just stream the course live on Facebook. Once a week, twice a week, maybe 2 lessons a week maximum. 2 lessons a week max. I could stream that and have it free, the streamed version of the course for free. So I was thinking for phrasal verbs, how would I do this? I'm a lot more interested in talking about prepositions that come after phrasal verbs. So I would do an episode on every single preposition and then all the different meanings that preposition can mean, the concepts around how we use it and how we think about it as a native speaker, so that you guys can actually learn to intuit how to create phrasal verbs, as opposed to just learning a list of phrasal verbs and trying to remember all of them off by heart. I would much prefer to teach you how to use them and how to create them so that you learn the rules and then you can just go out there and create phrasal verbs whenever you need to. So the basic idea was that the first lesson would be introducing the different kinds of phrasal verbs, the ones you can separate, the ones you have to keep together. Then the next 15 to 16 lessons would be one preposition per lesson. One preposition. So I would do up one lesson and all the phrasal verbs that go with up. I would talk about what up can mean, to fill up, to speak up, to increase, all the different ways that that preposition can be used, as well as expressions that use the preposition up and phrasal verbs. And then the next week would be down, then on, then off, and I would eventually go through all the different prepositions. So that would be the outline of the course. I would stream it on here, guys. That aspect would be free, but I would have a slideshow that I've created in PowerPoint, a slideshow that I would overlay on top of the audio so that you can see all the images, you can see the things moving on the screen that show you what the phrasal verb means or is doing, how it sort of describes that situation. On top of that, when you purchase the course, you would get the downloads. So you get the video to download, you'd get an entire transcript of the entire lesson. So for the entire hour, you would get it written out, verbatim, word by word, with every single phrasal verb defined with examples. I was also thinking I can create a Facebook private group for you guys where I can set up automatic exercises for you to work on every single day that go with the content for that week, so that it really reinforces all of the phrasal verbs that you'll be learning and all the prepositions you'll be learning. So you'll be able to do written exercises, you can do videos. I'd have video challenges every single day. The group would be for paying members. So that's the basic idea, guys. Let me know what you think. If this is something that interests you and you would be interested in doing a phrasal verb course, probably over 2 or 3 months, so it would be an ongoing thing, give me a yes in a comment. Just type the word yes, you'd be interested, so that I can get an idea of how many people would be keen on signing up for this course. And yeah, price-wise at the moment, I'm trying to work out how much it would cost, but I want to keep it well under $100, but we'll see what happens. I have to try and work it all out. Anyway, comment yes if you think it's a good idea and it's something that you would purchase, that you think would really help other people. And if you don't think it's a good idea, write no and let me know why and how I could make it even better for you guys. So that's what I'm thinking right now. I would really love to create this course over the next 3 months. I could take on a group of you. We could all work together. I really want to help you guys learn phrasal verbs and come up with a method to teach you the concepts so that it's very, very, very easy after the course and you no longer ever have to worry about freaking phrasal verbs ever again. Anyway, that's the spiel. So that's the basic idea. 3-month course, and then after the phrasal verb 1, we could do business English, we could do Aussie slang, and this will help me to keep doing what I'm doing. And also, it gives away free content for anyone who is unable to purchase the goods and support Aussie English as well. So I think it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone, guys. I can release the course on here, advertise, have it on Facebook, and then all the bonus content would be paid. Let me know what you think. Again, write yes in a comment if it's something that you'd like. Anyway, let's get into today's content, guys. Thanks for sticking around. I know that was a big intro. So in hospitality, especially in Australia, most places will tend to be pretty casual. They'll tend to be pretty friendly. And so with regards to greetings, I would go back and listen to all of the episodes that I've done on the podcast and that are on YouTube about how to greet someone. So there's like how to greet someone like a native. That's one of the videos there with 21 different ways. But typically I would say, g'day, hey, hi, hello. That's what I would say when greeting someone who just walked in the door at the restaurant. G'day, how's it going? Hey, hi, hello. And then yeah, obviously I would say phrases like, how you going? How you going? Or how's it going? how's it going? That is informal. That is incredibly informal. But it's not rude, it's just very friendly. It's a very friendly way to greet people. So if you're working in a workplace like a cafe or a restaurant that isn't incredibly high-end, using that kind of informal language is a-okay, unless they specify otherwise. So that's what I would go off. G'day, hey, hi, hello, how's it going, how you going? If it's a high-end restaurant, if it's a high-end hotel, they might say that you can't be that casual, that you can't be that informal, and that you have to use more formal language. What kind of language would you use? You would probably use things like, how are you? How do you do? You might do. Again, that's a very weird kind of greeting to actually use. But a high-end establishment, a high-end restaurant, a high-end hotel might ask you to use that kind of language, and they may ask you to use sir and madam. Sir and madam. And then if you're referring to someone and you know their surname, you might be asked to say Mr. so-and-so or Mrs. so-and-so. So that's the high end, the very sort of, I guess, good quality restaurants where they may ask you. They will specify those. So if you're going for a job, if you're looking for a job in Australia, don't worry about being too informal. They will tell you if it's not okay. And if they don't, you can always just say, well, this is how I speak. You should have told me, but I'm happy now to do the informal stuff. So they're the greetings. G'day, hey, hi, hello. And then typically, hey, how's it going? G'day, how's it going? Hey, how ya going? How you going? G'day, how you going? Any of those sort of combinations. They're the ones I'd learn. What you're likely to hear as soon as someone walks in, whether it's a hotel or a restaurant, you're likely to hear, we have a table booked, or that we would like a table because they don't have one booked. So if it's booked, it means that prior to coming, they organised the table. They called up and they said, we want to book a table for X amount of people, 2 people, 3 people, 100 people. The same with rooms in hotels. They'll tend to either come in and say, I've booked one. I've booked a room, I've booked a double, meaning 2 beds, or a double bed. I've booked a single, meaning a single bed, or just 1 bed. Or I need to book one. I haven't booked one, but I would like one. Do you have any available too? They'll use the word available if they haven't booked one ahead of time. So if they haven't booked it before, they'll come in and say, do you have any tables available? Do you have any rooms available? Because I would like to book one, or I would like to, sit down at one of these tables and have dinner. So when they walk in the door, questions that you might ask. Let's go through a list of questions that you might ask. So I'm imagining here too in my head that I'm at the restaurant that I work at. Someone shows up, my manager isn't here, so I go up to the person and have to greet them and then seat them, take care of their needs. So I would say, hey, how's it going? Or g'day, how ya going? How are you guys? How you going? How can I help you? How can I help you? You could also say, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? If someone's come to purchase something, say it's a cafe and it's takeaway, you might say, what can I get you? What can I get you? Or what can I get you? The more that you contract that, get you, the more you contract that to get ya, the more informal that becomes, okay? So remember that with contractions, at least in Australian English usually, when we contract things, the more contracted it is, the more informal it is. So that's just a word of warning. So can I get you anything? Can I help you with anything? What can I get you? You might also say, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? You could say, would you guys like, and then whatever it is, a table, a room, some water, a menu. Would you like, or would you guys like? So I would typically use guys. I add the noun guys in there, not because it's men, not because it's boys, but because there's multiple people. And so Australians, I think probably everywhere, they probably use it in America and Britain as well, but definitely in Australia, I use this all the time. If there's a group of people, I make it plural by saying you guys. so that it's obvious that I'm talking to a group and not one person. This is the annoying thing in English because we have the one pronoun you for plural and singular. But if you want to pluralize it, I assume that's a word, to pluralize, to make plural, I would say you guys. How are you guys going? G'day guys. How's it going guys? How can I help you guys? What can I do for you guys? What can I get you guys? Would you guys like some water? Would you guys like a room? Would you guys like a table? You might ask them where they would like this room or table. Would you like a table upstairs? Would you like a table downstairs? Would you like one near the window? Would you like one over there? So practice there too, the would you, would you, would you, would you. Would you, would you. Would you, would you, would you like? If they're after a room, you might ask them, would you like a room on this floor? Number 1, number 50, would you like a room near the exit? Would you like a room with heating, with any sorts of amenities, so any kinds of features that you might offer? Would you like a room with 2 beds, 1 bed, a view of the ocean? Would you like? Would you like? So get used to using that because that's going to be used all the time in this kind of work in English. Where you're serving people, you're always going to be using would ya, would you, as a polite way of asking, you know, can I do something for you? Or would you like this thing? Is this something you'd like? Would you? And the same with do you, ju, or you might just say ja. Do you want a room? But again, would you there is slightly less informal, slightly more formal. So I would probably use would you instead of do you. But again, you could use either. They're not going to offend that many people. You could also say, can I get you something? Can I get you some water? Can I get you a menu? Can I get you anything else? Can I get you something else? Any of that combination is fine. Would you like something else? Can I get you something else? Can I get you something else? So practice that pronunciation, guys. Okay, so now you want to check on customers. So you've seated the customers at a table or you've given customers a room at the hotel, but you want to check on them. If they're at a hotel, you might ring them up and just ask, is everything okay? How are you going? And you could use this at the restaurant as well. So you're just saying, are you okay? Is everything okay? How are you going? Would you like anything else? Can I do anything else for you? Would you like anything else? Can I do anything else for you? Can I get you anything else? Can I get you anything else? Can I get you something else? You can use either one of those there. And would you like anything else? Or would you like something else? I would also probably use, to make this even more informal, I always confuse those two. If you want to make it informal, and you want to be kind of just really friendly, I might say, are you guys doing okay? You guys doing okay? And you can get rid of are. You guys doing okay? Are you doing okay? And if you remove are from the front of those sentences, are you doing okay? Are you going okay? Are you all good? If you take are away, you've got to inflect it. You doing okay, guys? You have to do the no, like the very I guess it's the inflection to make it obvious that it's a question. Because if you just said you doing okay, they would get confused. So you're going to inflect it. However, if you've got are at the front of it, the word are you doing okay? That inversion makes it obvious that it's a question. But yeah, that's what I'd use to be a little friendlier. Are you guys doing all right? How are you going? Are you all good? And remember, are you all good for one person? If there's many people and it's informal, you can say, are you guys all good? Are you guys doing okay? Are you guys going okay? How are you guys? So that's what you can use when checking on customers. Is there anything else I can get you? Would you like anything else? Can I get you something else? How are you going? Are you guys all right? Are you doing okay? Are you going okay? So questions that customers might ask you. Here, we'll go through some of these. I get this all the time at the restaurant. So I'll seat some customers and I'll forget to put the menus down. And they might say, can we grab a menu? Can we get a menu? Do you have any menus? Can we have some menus? So that's a rookie error, we might say. That's an error that beginners make. But sometimes it gets so busy, I forget to put menus down. I might forget water, and they might say, can I have some water? May I have some water? Do you have any water? They might say that. So it's the same in hotels. If you forgot something, if something was missing, they're the kinds of questions you're going to hear. Do you have any? Can I have some? Would you mind if I grabbed some or got some? And then whatever the thing is. Also, I tend to have this a lot in the restaurant. I'll give them the menus and they'll be reading them and they get a bit overwhelmed because we have a lot of Spanish. Obviously, it's a Spanish restaurant. So they get a little overwhelmed and they'll say, do you have any recommendations? Or can you recommend anything? They might also say, do you have any suggestions? Or can you suggest anything? So this is where they're not sure what to buy and they'll want your suggestions, they'll want your recommendations. So quite often I'll say the things that I really like in this situation. You know, I'll say go for the pork belly and the zucchini fritters. That stuff's awesome, as well as the lamb ribs and the patatas bravas. Fried potato, it's awesome. That's what I'd suggest. That's what I'd recommend. So do you have any recommendations? Do you have any suggestions? Can or could you suggest something? Can or could you recommend something? They might also say, can or could you give us some recommendations or give us some suggestions? So they're the basic questions when asking for advice on food or drinks. They might ask you, where are the toilets? Or where are your toilets? Where are the restrooms or the restroom? Where are the ladies? When they say ladies, they're talking about the women's toilets. They might say, where are the gentlemen's? And that means the gentlemen's toilets, the men's toilets. And if you get very, very, I guess, Australians who are incredibly informal, they might say, where's the dunny? Where's the loo? Or where's the John? They might use that kind of language and they're asking, where's the toilet? The dunny, the loo, the John, they're talking about the toilet. The toilet. So again, as we went over last week, you might often hear questions starting with, do you mind if I? Do you mind if I? And would you mind if I? Do you mind if I? Would you mind if I? Do you mind if I? Would you mind if I? This is one, remember, that I recommend that you guys really learn. I suggest that you learn these phrases because anytime you're asking permission to do something or for something, can I do this effectively? Do you mind if I? Would you mind if I? You're going to use it a lot. And you're going to hear it a lot in Australia. My God, you will hear this all the time. Do you mind if I go and do, would you mind if I? Do you mind if I? You'll hear that everywhere from all Australians. So learn that really. So you might hear people say, do you mind if I get a beer? They might say, do you mind if I grab a beer? And this is grab, this action of putting my hand around something and holding it, to grab. That's to grab. We use that as a bit of a slang term for to get. And I'll go over that at the end. But you'll often hear that in Australia as well. Do you mind if I grab a beer? Would you mind if I grab some food? So you'll hear those two questions. You might also hear, do you do takeaway? And they might also refer to you as in the whole restaurant as, do you guys do takeaway? Do you guys do takeaway? Do you guys do takeaway? And they're asking, can I take the food away if they're already eating? They're asking, can they put it in a box and take it home with them? Or they might come in and just ask, do you guys do takeaway? Do you guys do takeaway? And it is, can I buy food here directly without sitting at a table and then just take that home? Do you guys do takeaway? They might also say, can I get this to go? As in, can I get this to go home? Can I get this to go? As in takeaway. Can I get this takeaway? Can I get this in a doggy bag? You might hear as well. In a doggy bag, I think, without looking this up, I think this refers to putting the food that you haven't eaten in a bag that you would take home and give to your dog. So, as in leftovers. So they might also use that term. A doggy bag tends to be anything, a container, a bag, whatever it is, with the leftover food that you can take home. So, can I get this in a doggy bag? Can I grab this in a doggy bag? Do you guys have a doggy bag that I can put the leftover food in and take home with me? So, responses to these questions. Okay, so my moustache is a little bit itchy. Responses. You'll know all of these guys. Yes, certainly. Yes, we certainly do. Yes, absolutely. Yes, of course. Yes, no worries. And if you really want to be Australian, no dramas. No dramas. If you want to say no, then you can say no, we don't, unfortunately. You might want to add unfortunately in there because it's kind of like, I'm sorry. We don't though. You might just say, yeah, no, I'm sorry. We don't. I'm sorry. No, sorry about that as well. You might say sorry about that as recognizing that it's an inconvenience for the person. So sorry about that. Yeah, we don't do that, unfortunately. And you'll also use things like you're welcome, cheers, ta, and yeah, they're the kinds of responses that you can often use for questions. You're welcome, cheers, ta, I'll do that, I'll get that, any of those sorts of things. So when customers finish at a restaurant, you can ask, are you all done? Are you guys all done? Are you finished? Are you guys all finished? If you want to make it informal, you can say, are you all finished, mate? If you want to make it more formal, then you could say, are you all finished, sir? Or are you all finished, madam? Or are you all finished? Yeah, you could just say it as, are you all finished? You could say, shall I clear the plates? And that's to take the plates from the table away, clean them. Can I clear the plates? Could I clear the plates? But this is a good use of shall, as in, will I do this for you? Shall I do it? Shall I clear the plates? And then you might ask, would you like anything else? Would you like anything else to drink? Would you like anything else to eat? You might hear people say, would you like any more savories? This is something that I use in the restaurant quite a bit to refer to any meal that is not dessert. So anything that's not sweet, as opposed to savory, sweet. So savory is the main sort of dishes that you buy before dessert. Any more savories, guys? Would you guys like any more savories? Did you want any more savories, guys? So you can use that. And then you might just say, can I get you dessert? Would you like to see the dessert menu? Would you like some dessert? Did you want some dessert? So that's what you would say or do when customers finish. When paying, so when customers are coming to you to pay, they might ask for the bill. Quite often I just get this signal of them writing in the air. They'll just ask for the bill by doing that. I'll bring the bill to them. They tend to say thank you. And then I'll ask, did you want to pay by card or cash? So cash as in banknotes or coins. Did you want to pay by cash? Did ya? Notice there that I say did and you as did ya. Did you want to pay by cash or card? And card is obviously, using the card to pay with the machine. So did you want to pay by cash? Did you want to pay by card? Did you want to pay with cash? Did you want to pay with card? And you can also say, did you want to pay on card? I might say using the machine, there's a tip option. Otherwise, just hit the OK button to go through and enter your PIN. So there's a tip option. You might ask them, did you want to leave a tip? Again, up to you. You can reply thanks for the tip if they do leave a tip. And then, you would say, please enter your PIN and hit OK. Hit as in press. Please enter your PIN and press OK. And PIN there is PIN number. So the secret number for their bank account. Did you want to enter your PIN there? Hit OK. And then after that, I might say, did you want a receipt with that? Did you want a receipt? Did you want a receipt with that, or did you want the receipt? Did you want the receipt with that? Here's your change. You might say that as well. If they've paid with cash, if they've paid by cash, you might say, here's your change. And they might say to you, oh no, that's a tip. You keep it. Keep the change. It's a tip. After that, you might just say, thanks guys. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great arvo. Have a great evening, or even just have a good one, and then see you next time. See you next time. See you next time, guys. See you guys next time. So I guess that's basically it, guys. Hopefully that's helped. Hopefully that's given you a bit of vocabulary and expressions that you guys can now use if you get a job in a cafe, if you get a job in a restaurant, in any kind of hospitality position, whether it's working in a hotel, motel, I hope it all helps. I'll go through some of the verbs now that you're likely to hear that are a bit slangy in Australian English. So these verbs tend to be, again, a bit informal, but you're going to hear them all the time because we tend to be very informal. Australians don't really like formal language. It tends to make people uncomfortable if you sort of elevate them by using sir or madam or very appropriate phrases. And that's why I guess I'm always saying use informal language, because Australian culture is very friendly. Everyone's your mate. Everyone wants you to initially treat them as a friend. They don't want to be put up here. At least the vast majority of people I meet feel uncomfortable if you automatically put them up here and call them sir or call them madam. If I do that at the restaurant, quite often the person will ask me not to do that. So that might give you a bit of insight into what Australian culture is like. And working in these places, if they're a friendly place, then quite often using sir or madam may make customers uncomfortable. But they'll let you know. It's nothing to worry about. It's just that, yeah, there's nothing wrong with calling someone mate or saying g'day. Anyway, so these verbs. The first one that I've got here is to be after. To be after. If you're after something, it means it's something that you want. I want something. I'm after something. I desire something. I'm after that thing. I'm after it. Imagine to be after as in to be chasing something. I'm after it. So the thing would pass someone first and you would pass after that thing because you're pursuing it. I'm after it. I guess that's where it comes from. This you'll hear all the time. So for instance, if a customer walks in through the door and they say, g'day, do you have any tables free? Do you have any free tables? We'd like a table. I might say, are you after one near the door? Are you after one upstairs? Are you after one for how many people? Are you after one for 2 people? For 4 people? Are you after one? Are you after one? Do you want one? Do you desire one? Is it what you would like? They might say, actually, yeah, we're after one near the door. We're after a table for 3 people, and we're after some drinks and just a little bit to eat, just a little bite of food tonight. That's all we're after. That's all we want. That's all we'd like. So that's what you'll hear, to be after. You can also hear this contracted quite a bit. So instead of saying I am after something, I might say, instead of saying rather, I am just after something, meaning that I am only after something, you might just hear people say, oh, just after a table. Just a table for 2, just after a table for 2, just after some food, just after a quick drink, and that's it. That's all we're after. Yeah, just after that. So they'll get rid of the pronoun and the verb at the start there, guys. They contract it. And that happens quite often when it's very, very obvious who it's referring to when you say that, just after. No one in that conversation is going to be confused as to who the just after is referring to. It's referring to the person saying it. So yeah, just after a table for 2 instead of I'm just after a table for 2. Just after some food, just after some wine, instead of we're just after some food, just after some wine. So you can just remove the pronoun and the verb there at the start if it's referring to you, the speaker. All right, the next verb is to grab. So we can use to grab this action again, guys. So if I grab you, it's that I close my hand around something and I have a hold of you. I grabbed you. I might grab you by the jumper, I might grab you by the hair, I might grab you by the arm, but that is to grab. We use this all the time in informal language. We'll use it everywhere. It won't just be at restaurants, it'll be everywhere. So I might say to someone, I might grab some food. Are you guys hungry? Did you want to come and grab some food with me? Because I feel like getting takeaway. I might go grab a kebab, a souvlaki. Did you want to grab some Chinese food? And it just means, do you want to get some? Like literally go to a place and pick it up with your hands, bring it home, you've grabbed it. You might say, I'm going to go to the shops to grab some milk. I'm going to go to the shops to grab some food. I'll grab some bread. I'll grab some meat. Grab, grab, grab. It just means to get. I'll get some food. I'll get some meat. I'll get some milk. To grab. That is a great one. I really recommend using it. And I guess some phrases you might hear that I've got written down. Can we grab a table for 2? Can we grab a room for 2? Mind if I grab a drink? Mind if I grab something to eat? And there we used the verb to mind. Remember, to mind meaning does it bother you? Mind if I grab something to eat? Could I grab some extra sauce? Mind if I grab some extra sauce? And a slang term for sauce in Australia quite often, you might hear dead horse because it rhymes. Do you mind if I grab some more dead horse? Although you'll probably confuse some people who, especially non-Australians, if you say that. They'll be like, what? We don't serve horse. I'll grab a beer and a steak, as in I'll get one, I'll buy one. That's what I'm going to grab. That's what I'm going to get. So to grab, to get. Got it? The next one is to chuck. So to chuck is this action. If I pick something up and I chuck it, it means that I throw it. I launch it into the air. I pass it through the air to you, at you, whatever. If I chuck it, it's this action. Chuck. So I use chuck. Australians tend to use chuck to mean to put. So to put. If I have some cologne here, if I put that on the book here in front of the camera, I could say I'm chucking it in front of the camera on the book. So chuck is like, I guess it's to throw something somewhere, but the basic idea is it's a slang term for to put, although to put would be a lot more delicate. You do it a lot more gracefully. To put, to chuck. So, for instance, when someone's paying for their bill after the restaurant, they might say, oh, I might chuck it on the card. Meaning I'll use my card to pay for things. I'll put the bill for the food on the card. I'll chuck it on the card. Do you mind if I chuck it on the card? Would you mind if I chuck it on the card? Can I chuck it on the card? Could I chuck it on the card? I'm going to chuck it on the card. You might say, if you're working in a hotel, could you chuck some more pillows in our room? Do you mind chucking a few more pillows in our room? Chuck some extra pillows on the bed. So the same idea. Chuck is a slang term for to put. Chuck, chuck. And then you might say, yeah, could you chuck some extra sauce on our food? Could you put it on? Can you chuck it on? So that's to chuck. The last verb, guys, before we get into question time, and remember, put all the questions in the comments below. The last verb here is to mind. So we went over this when we were talking about the phrases, do you mind if I? Would you mind if I? And Somi, who just came into the live video, was hearing about this in the live lesson, or the private lesson that we did recently. Do you mind if I? Would you mind if I? So remember, to mind is to bother someone. If something bothers you, you mind that thing happening. So you guys might say, Pete, do you mind if I ask you a question? And it's the same as asking me, does it bother you if I ask you a question? Do you mind if I ask you a question? Does it bother you if I ask you a question? So you're going to hear this all the time. Do you mind if I grab a table for two? Do you mind if we grab a room? Do you mind if I upgrade to a double room? Do you mind if we get a larger table? Do you mind if we get something to eat? Do you mind if we get some food? Do you mind if we get another round of drinks? Another round of drinks too, by the way, means a drink for every person. That's a round. A round. So imagine that people are sitting in a circle and you're putting the drinks around the circle. That's a single, a round. Do you mind if we grab another round? And you could say, would you mind if I grab a table for two? Would you mind if I chuck some extra sauce on the food? Would you mind if we get another round of drinks? And you can actually remove the do you and the would you and just say, mind if I, or mind if we. Mind if I grab a table for two? Mind if I grab it? Mind if we upgrade to a double room? Mind if we upgrade? Mind if I get another round of drinks for everyone? Is that all good? Is it okay? So that's it, guys. That's it for today's lesson. If you have questions, it's question time. So it can be questions about anything that we went over today in this lesson. Put them down in the comments. It can be about anything with regards to English. You guys can ask me anything and everything. I'm here to help you guys with your English. So ask me anything that you would like. But first, I have a question here from Frankie. And Frankie was asking, could you talk about did you want? The phrase seems to be used very often in hospitality, in the hospitality industry, instead of do you want, did you want? For example, did you want a glass of water? Is the past tense used usually in more formal or polite situations? For example, can versus would, will versus... can versus could and will versus would. I don't know if it's necessarily more polite. I think that it could potentially be. I think that if you use would or could instead of do, it definitely has a slightly more polite feel to it. So if you were to say, do you want some more water? You could say, would you like some more water? Or, yeah, could I get you some more water? I don't think anyone would really be that offended, though. It might be. Past-wise, I guess we shift it into the past. And what's going on in my head here is, was it something that you already wanted? So the person, if you can see someone looking at you like, I'm after some food, I'm after some water, then you know that in the past, by the time you get there, what they've been wanting, what they want, it's in the past. And so that's why I would walk up and say, did you want some more water, sir? But I don't think it's more polite to say did or do. I think it's just a way that we would speak, because it's obvious that what they wanted, see, I just used it there, simple past. They wanted it, it's in the past. But yeah, would you like definitely feels more polite because of would you like, the like there. I think it's the way we're using the tense. Would you like, would you like, would you like. It just feels more polite to say that than do you want, do you want. Although neither of them is like really going to offend anyone or anything like that. So I hope that helps, Frankie. Let me go through some more of these questions. So what have we got here? Daniel. Hey, Pete. Hi also from Emma. Hey, Dan and Em. The coffee bag on the back, where did you get it from? Oh, the one over... I'm going to work out my orientation. This one here, the coffee bag here, I actually have them all over my bed. So I'm actually quite cheap. And to show you my bed, guys, my bed is actually piano pallets. So I don't know if you can see. These are... I've got the thing set on backwards. These are pallets. So grand pianos were shipped to Australia on these pallets from Japan, and I turned them into my bed. So I've actually got them... Sorry, I can't orientate this thing properly. I've got, under my bed here, pallets. So they're all wooden pallets, and they cost me nothing. So yeah, I got them made from pallets, and I went to a coffee... Where was it? Actually, it was a cheese and wine place on the Mornington Peninsula, and they roasted their beans. So I think that was why. I had all of these bags. They had them all there, rather, and they were $8. They were $8 each, and so I just bought a whole bunch because I thought they're nicer. I can put them over the pallets, and I don't have splinters going into my head at night or into the pillows. So yeah, I would go anywhere that you can get coffee roasted by someone. If they've got a roaster there, they'll have these sacks. You might be able to find them on Gumtree.com. Gumtree is that website where people sell anything and everything. So if you want pallets like this, you'll probably find them on Gumtree. If you want any of these kinds of sacks, you'll probably also find them on Gumtree. But yeah, anywhere that roasts beans, coffee beans, will be getting them as these sacks full of the green coffee beans and then roasting them. So Felipe, hi Pete, could you please explain to us why do people respond with a yes when we ask, do you mind if I? Meaning that they actually don't mind. I think they're thinking in their head, yes, it's okay. And this happens all the time with this question. Actually, I've just thought of it. I would typically not respond to this one with just yes or no, because it can confuse people, because they don't know if yes, I mind, or yes, I don't mind, or no, I mind, or no, I don't mind. So it's weird because people often do respond to this question with a yes or no answer. However, it's not a yes or no answer that it needs. Because yeah, it's does it bother you or doesn't bother you? I don't know. People are stupid. I'm stupid. I make this mistake quite often, but you would just have to ask. If someone replies to, do you mind if I grab a drink? And they say yes. And you're like, so you do mind. So I'm not allowed to grab a drink. or yes, you don't mind and I can get one. So you would just have to ask. So yes, I can get one, I can't get one. So you do mind, you don't mind. But I think that's the reason, because it's one of those weird verbs where the meaning is kind of inverted from the norm, right? So do you mind? We have to kind of invert it if we translate it into does it bother you? And I think when people hear do you mind, they're thinking does it bother you? And then they're responding with no or yes as a way of responding to that question. So it's conflated. The best thing is just ask, do you mind if I do this? Yes. And then be like, you do mind or you don't mind? You do mind or you don't mind? So I would use that. Also, I wouldn't ever say, don't mind if I, in a question like that, it would be more a statement. So don't mind if I do would be like, I don't mind if I do. So it's kind of like, I'm going to do this, yes. So someone might hand me a biscuit and I might be like, ooh, don't mind if I do. So it's not a question kind of statement in the negative like that. So any other questions, guys? Rafa, hey Pete, how's it going, mate? It's going good, mate. How are you going? G'day, mate. How are you guys all going? Do they smell like coffee? The bags here, no. I actually washed these. I put them through the the washing machine that washes clothing. So they don't smell like coffee. Would have given it to you for free. I might have to harass you then, Dan, if I ever need some more. Frankie, we'll be moving to Queensland from Hong Kong at the end of the year. Is there anything about Queenslanders that we need to know about? The difficult thing with Queenslanders is that, at least from the point of view of people from New South Wales, typically Sydney, and Victoria, typically Melbourne, the further north you go in Queensland, the more racist people are going to be. That's a stereotype. It's not 100% true, but it is something that I have experienced. And I think it's not so much a trait of Queensland, but it's just that the majority of Queensland, once you get past Brisbane, tends to be small towns. They don't tend to have that many immigrants there. They're not used to a lot of foreigners that aren't, Europeans going on tourist things. So if you go away from the coast where all the tourist attractions are, you're going to meet people who, they're not all racists, but they're just not going to have a lot of experience with foreign people. So that's the stereotype that Victorians tend to have and give Queenslanders a hard time for. So that, and that they're into rugby, and no one likes rugby. So another thing we give them trouble for. But I think you'll be fine. They're pretty friendly. And I imagine that if you're going to Queensland, you're not going far north. But yeah, if you're open and friendly, they tend to be open and friendly as well. So I think you'll have a really good time there, mate, especially if you're in and around Brisbane. Brisbane's a big city, so you'll be fine. But that tends to be the joke. Queenslanders will call Victorians Mexicans because we're south of the border, making a joke about America and Mexicans constantly trying to come into America across the border. They make that joke about Victoria because we're down the bottom and we want their weather, we want their beautiful beaches, and we just tend to call all Queenslanders racists. So that tends to be the rivalry that we have going on. But I think you'll enjoy it, mate, especially the scenery and the weather. The weather's going to be pretty much always 20s, 30s. It's pretty much like this all year round. Whereas if you come to Melbourne, you're going to have to get used to 40 degrees, 30 degrees in summer, and then in winter it'll get down closer to 10 degrees. I think today it's about 14 degrees, so you're going to have amazing weather in Queensland, mate, so enjoy that side of things. What else have we got here? Julia, hi Pete, could you please explain what's the difference in the case of saying to get or to grab? So for example, if I tell a customer, I will get you, and then something, I think you can use either. The basic thing there is that get would be the standard way of saying it. So this would be formal, informal. This is just the verb that tends to be used everywhere. This would be used also probably in the US and the UK ubiquitously throughout the English-speaking world. I'm not sure if they use grab the same way that we do, like this, though they'll understand. And this is how I would speak to them if I was going to any of those places. I would say, do you mind if I'll grab you something. So it's just, yeah, it's not even informal really. Like it wouldn't offend anyone if someone said, I'll grab something for you. They might get trained not to use it in very, 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 very formal situations, but I would use them interchangeably. Can I get you a drink? Can I grab you anything to drink? Can I get you some food? Can I grab you some food? So I would use them interchangeably. At least understand. You could stick with one. You can stay with get and just always use get, but just be used to hearing grab, 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 because you're going to be talking to Australians and the Australians are going to be using grab, grab, grab all the time. Can I grab a table? Can I grab some food? Can I grab that takeaway? Can I grab, grab, grab? So just get used to that. And same with chuck. To chuck, as in to put, get used to hearing chuck. Chuck it on the car, chuck it on the card, chuck it on the bill, chuck it outside, chuck it, chuck it, chuck it. Just means to put. So I hope that helps. What else? Any other questions, guys? What answers are possible to tar and cheers? So tar and cheers are just another way of saying thank you. Tar and cheers. Thank you. Responses to it, you might just say no worries. No worries. You're welcome. No dramas. All good. My pleasure. You're welcome. Yeah, any of those would be fine. Or you might just say, yeah, it's all good. No worries. I'd probably just stick with no worries. Yeah, no worries, mate. All good. No dramas. Tar, cheers. So, Akan asks, do you practice martial arts? And if yes, which martial art? I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm just trying to see if I have any of my my gear hanging around. So, let's see if I can... So, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is where you wear a gi like this. And these are actually really robust. It's really strong material. And it's like judo. So... you grab onto people and you throw them to the ground and then you apply a submission. So you'll choke someone. You're not allowed to use your hand like this. We call that a rape choke. We don't use that. But you can put your arm around someone's neck and you have to get them to tap so that they effectively get submitted and they say you win. So yeah, I do jiu-jitsu. I really enjoy it. It requires a lot of thinking. It's not really a martial art where you just bash someone by hitting or punching them. You grapple with them. There's no punching, there's no kicking, but you have to try and submit your opponent by using joint locks. So for instance, this is a wrist lock. If I get their wrist here and push it down and they tap, they'll be like, oh, I'm out. That's a submission. That's a tap. So yeah, martial arts is good fun. It's a great way to stay healthy. It's a great way to meet people. It's something I'd recommend if you come to Australia. Obviously, I recommend jiu-jitsu, but if you're interested in a physical kind of sport where you're moving a lot and one where you can meet a lot of Australians as well as just other people, obviously martial arts are a great way of doing a class and meeting other people. You can also do this by going to the gym and going to classes there. You could enroll in yoga classes, in dancing classes. It could be anything and everything. If you want to meet Australians, this is something that I really recommend people do, is just sign up for any kind of class where there's going to be 20 or 30 people and you're going to have to interact with them. This is a great way of meeting people. You'll almost always find at least 2-3 people you get along with well, you see on a regular basis and you become good friends with. So if you move to Australia and you're thinking, how do I meet Aussies? How do I meet Australians doing Australian things? Sign up for some kind of sport or activity or club or group and just get involved. Get amongst it, mingle with people. There's no more Aussies in the Gold Coast, mate. Don't worry about racism, says Willie. There's no more Aussies. Good one. Can you please explain what does bun in the oven mean? Oh, Somi, you're playing a game with me. So to have a bun in the oven is an expression, a nice expression that's used for someone who's pregnant. So you would imagine that if a woman is pregnant and she has a baby in her, she has a baby inside of her, the kind of slang term, well, not slang term, but the expression people will say is that she's got a bun, which is a bread, a bit of a sweet bread that you have to put into an oven to cook. She's got a bun in the oven, and her oven is obviously her belly where she has the baby. She's got a bun in the oven. So you can use that one. A more slangy version would be she's up the duff. This one is not, it's not really rude. It's just not a polite way of saying she's pregnant or that she has a bun in the oven. That's kind of a cute one. But we could also say she's up the duff. And so I would probably use that if I was you guys to make someone laugh as kind of lol, a joke. Oh, she up the duff. Like, I wouldn't do it seriously. If you did it seriously, someone might be like, whoa, okay. But yeah, up the duff and to have a bun in the oven. Any other questions? So, Hodele wants to know, the expression it's fine, is it the same as so-so? No, it's fine means it's okay. So-so would be this idea of, yeah, so-so. So like kind of not good, not okay, not bad. So-so. It's fine, I would use to mean it's good. It's all good. It's okay. It's fine. Somi's got another question. What does that is my pet hate mean? Oh, okay. What does it mean if you say something is my pet hate? This one, I don't know where it came from, but it's commonly used everywhere. America, Britain, Australia. If something's your pet hate, this is kind of like something you really dislike and that it's like a common thing. So if your husband, if Ali if Ali was always eating really loudly next to you, so you're sitting on the couch trying to watch a movie and he's sitting next to you, you know, what's up? You could say, God damn it, people eating out loud like that is my pet hate. So it's something that you really dislike. It's something you really, really hate. People eating popcorn in cinemas is a pet hate of mine. I really dislike that because everything tends to be quiet and then you just hear crunch, crunch, crunch. That's my pet hate. Someone could hate motorcycles and that would be their pet hate. So I'm not sure why it's pet. I guess you could imagine that it's something you carry with you everywhere, like a small animal that you foster, I don't know, that you take care of. But that's the thing that you kind of hate. And it tends to be, you wouldn't say this about like, I don't know, if you were Hitler and you hated Jews, you wouldn't say Jews are my pet hate. It's kind of a small cutesy thing that annoys you. This thing annoys me. If you really, really hated someone, something, a race of people, you wouldn't use pet hate. You would, I don't even know what you would use, but pet hate is kind of something cute, something small that's just annoying. It's irritating. So yeah, I hope Ali doesn't eat too loudly next to you when you guys are hanging out watching TV. Leandro, could you recommend me any Australian TV shows? Oh man, Leandro, have you got a pen and paper? So first and foremost, one that I really recommend is Round the Twist. Round the Twist. Round as in something that's round, and then twist, like twisting something, Round the Twist. 3 words. YouTube it. Put it on YouTube. The first season is free on there. I think it's like 5 hours long. This was filmed down the Great Ocean Road, and it's just brilliant. The stories, I think each episode is about 30 minutes long, and the stories are, I think they're based on an author that was Australian called Paul Jennings. And he wrote all these children's books for the young adults that had like kind of supernatural, crazy stories. So Round the Twist is one that I really recommend. I'm sure Somi and Ali at the moment who are watching this would probably recommend Packed to the Rafters. That's another one that I've heard a few of my students watching recently. Packed to the Rafters. So the verb packed to the rafters. That's another one. Underbelly. Underbelly. This is one word. Underbelly. That's a really good TV show, and it's sort of based on true stories about gangs and crime that happened in cities around Australia throughout history. So you've got things like the early 2000s in Lygon Street here in Melbourne. That's the first season. I think there was one based in Sydney, Perth. So they're really cool because it's a bit of history and it's about Australia. So those are 3 pretty good shows. Sea Change is another one. That's one word, Sea Change. Sea, like the ocean, Sea Change. That's a really good TV show as well. It's kind of a comedy, bit of a romantic comedy. Again, this one was filmed down near the Great Ocean Road, near Barwon Heads and Ocean Grove, where I grew up. So that's along the coastline. So anytime I see that TV show, I just think of where I grew up. So I hope they're good suggestions. Aside from that, I don't know. I don't really watch much. A lot of the TV I watch, unfortunately, is from America at the moment. But hopefully those 4 TV shows are good. What did I say? Underbelly, Round the Twist, Packed to the Rafters, and Sea Change. Give them a go and let me know how you go, mate. Send me a message if you enjoy any of them. But the first season of Round the Twist is on YouTube. It's free. You can watch it. I think it has ads through it. But go and watch it. There's like 5 hours of Australian TV show on YouTube, free. Willie asks, could you explain the meaning of reckon and when do you use it properly? So to reckon means to kind of think. Think can be used in multiple ways. So you might ask someone, what do you think about this situation? And in order to say the same thing with reckon, you would just say, what do you reckon about this situation? You might just say, what do you reckon? What do you reckon? What do you think? I think I wouldn't use this as much when I'm thinking about something. So if I had in my head right now, I'm thinking about how to explain this, I would never say I'm reckoning about how to explain this. Never. So if the thought is ongoing in your head, you just use think, you don't use reckon. If someone's asking your opinion on something though, what do you think of Alice? Someone might say, what do you reckon about Alice? What do you think of going to the beach today? What do you reckon about going to the beach today? So reckon about, think of. You could use think about as well. But that's where I would use it. What do you reckon? What do you think? It's me asking you, what is your opinion? Not what are you thinking as in what's going on in your head. It's what do you think? What is your opinion? What are your thoughts on a certain thing? You can also use this when you agree with someone. So if someone says, oh man, it's so hot today, you might hear people say, yeah, I reckon, or just, yeah, reckon. And that means like, yeah, I think so. But you would never say, I think so. It would more be like, yeah, I agree. So you can use reckon in that sense as well. That's quite slangy in Australia. Reckon, yeah, reckon. So that's an agreement. So you can use reckon if you're asking someone what they think, what's their opinion, tell me what you reckon. And you can ask it if you can say it if you're agreeing with someone about a fact like that. Yeah, reckon. Far out, it's hot today. Yeah, reckon. So I hope that helps. What else have we got here? Can you explain the meaning of reckon? You just asked that, mate. Okay. And Vandad asks, pet peeve. That's the same as pet hate. Eating aloud is my pet peeve. It's my pet hate. Both of those are exactly the same. Round the twist. Yep, you spelled that right. Sea change doesn't have an S on the end. Sea change. So it's like singular. Somi agrees. Packed to the Rafters is really good. And she says the majority of it is conversations with just slang words. So I'll give that a go. All right. Looks like we went through all the questions there, guys. I'm going to redo the announcement that I did at the start because my assumption is that everyone watching now probably wasn't here at the beginning. So at the start of today's lesson, I announced that I'm thinking about doing a phrasal verb course and that I'm thinking about streaming it live on Facebook for these lessons. So the idea would be to stream 1 or 2 lessons per week for the phrasal verb course. And these videos would be free. They'd be like this one where you would just see me talking. But then for those who want to sign up and purchase the course and all the extra content, I would take these videos and the audio from these videos and overlay them with the slideshow that I see on my screen here with the explanation of all these different phrasal verbs. So the basic idea here would be to have a first lesson introducing the different kinds of phrasal verbs, separable ones, ones that you have to have together, and how to use them and why we use them. And then I would have about 15 or 16 different lessons covering each preposition. So my idea here is to teach you phrasal verbs from the point of view of prepositions and not from the point of view of the verb. So I would go through each preposition, in, on, at, up and down, and then talk about the different verbs and how to create phrasal verbs. So to teach you these concepts. So on top of that, there'd be about 20 lessons. I would have a Q&A session after each lesson where you could directly ask me questions. I would have a private Facebook group with daily activities for that week's content. So if we were studying the phrasal verbs that go with over, the preposition over, there would be daily challenges to create videos, to write, to practice it, and to chat with me and everyone else who'd signed up or enrolled in that course. You'd be able to download the slideshow, the video, the combination of the slideshow and the video, a complete written transcript for the entire episode, and then you would have every single one of those phrasal verbs used in the episode defined with example sentences. So I really want to create a course for you guys that I can stream online live and then create all the bonus content for people who want to purchase it, but to teach you how to think about phrasal verbs from a different perspective, not a list of verbs that you need to remember, but more the prepositions, what they represent in space and time as an English speaker and how we're thinking, and then you'll be able to create these phrasal verbs without thinking after the course. So the course would run hopefully for between 2 and 3 months with 1 or 2 lessons per week, and you would stay in contact with me in the group there. You'd get all that downloadable content, and I want to keep it under $100. So I'm going to do my best to keep it cheap because it'll be about 20 hours worth of content. But let me know what you think, guys. Put a comment below with yes if it's something that you're interested in, whether you're watching this on YouTube, whether you're watching this on Facebook, whether you're watching or listening to this as the podcast. And yeah, if you're really, really interested, put a yes. If you think that you're not interested right now, but I could change it, put a no, and then explain to me what else I could include to help you guys learn phrasal verbs, because I really want to do this and I want to do it from an Australian perspective. So I might put slang words and other things in there that are related to Australia. Anyway, I would love to know your 2 cents. I want to know your opinion. I want to know what you reckon. So please let me know if it's something that you would like, if it's something that you would purchase and get a lot out of. Put a yes below in the comment. And I guess without any further ado, let's just finish the episode up. I've been keeping you guys for too long. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Hopefully the phrasal verb course thing will start soon. If it starts, I'm going to hopefully chat to a few of you about it. Other than that, I'll see you in class next week, guys. So let's leave it there. Peace out, and thanks as usual. See ya. G'day guys, thanks for watching the video. Remember, if you want to support the channel financially, you can do so via my Patreon page, which is linked in the description below. If you can't afford to support the channel financially, you can still help by spreading the word and sharing the videos. Thanks so much, guys. Stay awesome. All the best.